Hey, everybody, welcome back to the Michael Lofton Show here on Reason and Theology. We're going to be reviewing the full audio tape of the uh, tape that was read recently in court. This is a lawsuit between Bishop Michael Olson and Mother Teresa Agnes Gerlach of the Carmelite Monastery of the Most Holy Trinity in Arlington, Texas. Bishop Olson is the Bishop of Fort Worth. He relieved Mother Teresa Agnes Gerlach of her ministry after she admitted on 5 various occasions in front of multiple witnesses and per this audio tape that she violated the 6th commandment. And so due to issues related to that, as well as some difficulties that she was having due to some of the medication and also seemingly marijuana that she was taking, he relieved her from ministry. And so, unfortunately, the nuns, as if you haven't been following the situation, I know I've done multiple videos on this, but for those who haven't been following this situation, the nuns decided to sue the bishop for multiple reasons. And in court, just a few days ago, the bishop released the audio file, about 30 minutes or so, of a discussion that he had with Mother Teresa Agnes Gerlach, who admitted to these actions. And it's based on these things that he released her from ministry in accordance with canon law. And I want to review that. Christine Niles posted on this, and Christine Niles with Church Militant posted on it just recently. Audio tape contradicts Carmelite nuns' claims. I did put a link to this in the show notes. We're going to read the article here in a moment. But first, I want to listen to the audio file that she uploaded, which is the full 32 minutes. So thank you to Christine who provided that to us. And I want to listen to it. I figured it was going to be released soon. I was going to be getting a copy, but it looks like she was able to get her hands on a copy pretty quickly, and fortunately able to post that for us. So good work there. Appreciate that she did this. So I want to listen to that and then also read the article and her comments on the situation, because I think they're insightful as well. And she also does go over the canons involved, because that's kind of been one of the questions was, well, upon what canonical grounds could he dismiss her from her office? And you'll see, upon what canonical grounds he chose to do so. It's a very unfortunate, very sad situation, but it's something that I think we would benefit from going through so that we can get to the truth on this matter, because again, there have been many things said about Bishop Olson in this matter, and many things also said about Mother Teresa Agnes Gerlach. Unfortunately, it's been brought into the public since the nuns decided to sue the bishop in a civil court. So these things are brought to the public. So unfortunately, it's brought into the public. It's already out there. So, we're going to have to sift through some of this and see, okay, who's in the right, who's in the wrong here, to know what's what. So let's go ahead and listen to the audio file. This is a version without any transcript, at least at this time. I'm going to see if I can maybe turn on closed captioning. Yeah, not available yet. But I understand that she has been putting clips of this with closed captioning on her Twitter, but I don't think it has been fully done yet. So we'll listen to this without closed caption. Please let me know if you have any difficulty hearing the audio. Let's go ahead and proceed.
Oh, come in. Hi, both now and forever. Thank you. Nice to see you. Hi. This is Sandra Schrader. All right. She is the head of our Safe Environment Department. Good. Thank you for seeing us, especially.
We're just having a little chair relocation here.
Sure.
It's more water in case you'll need it.
Oh, very kind. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. Oh, very good. Mother, I have a delicate question to bring to you, all right? And it has come. I've received information about a violation of the sixth commandment by you with a priest. Do you know anything about that?
Yes, Bishop, I do.
Okay, thank you. All right. I'm so sorry. Um, could you please tell me who the priest is?
Yeah, Bishop.
Why?
He's not from this diocese.
Well, okay. I understand this is, I have initiated an investigation, though, towards this for canonical reasons, as far as for, I'll read the decree in a minute.
Sorry about that. Hold on one second. Going to share my screen once more and rewind it. Okay, here we go.
Though, towards this for canonical reasons, as far as for, I'll read the decree in a minute. It would be really important for you to consider that, because other people might be in jeopardy. All right, because I know it's consensual, is what I understand that to be. Is that correct? Okay. And but a priest, as you know, is obliged to live his promises and vows, and it's even more so for a priest, even than a consecrated religious, and even someone entrusted with authority.
Bishop, most of this was done by the phone.
I see. All right, was some of this in person?
Yes, Bishop.
Okay, well that's
But most
so,
of it I had
but sufficient. Okay, so
um,
we'll have this investigation, but I need to put you on administrative leave. All right, and so as the superior of that, so and then put a precept on you while the investigation is going on.
So I want to listen to the beginning part again, because you'll notice that he doesn't bring up the matter of discipline and removing her from office until after the admission. So listen to that again.
I have a delicate question to bring to you. All right, and it has come. I've received information about a violation of the sixth commandment by you with a priest. Do you know anything about that?
yes, Bishop, I do.
Yes, Bishop, she says.
Okay, thank you. All right, I'm so sorry. Um, could you please tell me who the priest is?
Yeah, Bishop.
Why?
He's not from this diocese.
Well, okay. I understand this is, I have initiated an investigation, though, towards this for canonical reasons, as far as for, I'll read the decree in a minute. It would be really important for you to consider that, because other people might be in jeopardy. All right, because I know it's consensual, is what I understand that to be. Is that correct? Okay.
She says yes, that it was consensual.
And but a priest, as you know, is obliged to live his promises and vows, and it's even more so for a priest, even than a consecrated religious, and even someone entrusted with authority.
Bishop, most of this was done by the phone.
She said most of this was done by the phone.
I see. All right, was some of this in person?
Yes, Bishop.
Was some of this in person? Yes, Bishop. So at least at this part of the audio so far, she's saying some was by phone, some was in person.
Okay, well that's
But most of it I had
but sufficient. Okay, so we'll have this investigation, but I need to put you on administrative leave. All right, and so as the superior of that, so and then put a precept on you while the investigation is going on, so that you live in the quarters here, the guest quarters, okay? And that I'll read the restrictions in a minute.
Bishop, I do need to tell you something.
Please.
I didn't have a way to explain this, but this did not happen in person at all. And it was all over the phone. So the priest did not.
She said this did not happen in person at all. It was all over the phone. So earlier, just a few minutes ago, she said some of it was in person. Now she's turning it back. It was all over the phone. After the canonical penalty, after she is disciplined. Could that mean that maybe she's trying to walk some of this back because of the discipline? I don't know. Trying to give her the benefit of the doubt. It could mean that she misspoke earlier and she realized it and she's trying to correct it now. Could be that as well. But I do find it odd that she says that initially, then comes the discipline, and then comes the backpedaling. Something about that doesn't sit well with me.
Not come down here.
That's something you've changed the story on.
A little bit, Bishop.
Yeah. We have a hard time with the truth.
Oh, he went there. He said, "You've changed your story." We have a hard time with the truth. He said that so much nicer than I would have. I need to take some lessons from Bishop Olson here. I'm going to start talking like this. Well, I think you have some problems with articulating the truth. Goodness. Okay.
Yes, Bishop, the truth is that he was not down here.
Well, we'll have time for that in the investigation.
I promise you.
Okay.
And I'm sure his side of the story will come out, and we'll find out more there. So, she's saying now that it wasn't in person, but she said it was consensual. She said it was over the phone at the very least.
It was all done on the phone.
That's something different.
Bishop, at the time I was having seizures, and I was in a really very difficult position, and I think my brain just got really messed up.
So she says that she was having seizures here, and her brain got really messed up at this time, and that's unfortunate. That's sad. I'm sad to hear that, honestly, and I could totally understand that some of that, if true, could interfere with the person's judgments. So I'm not imputing any kind of major culpability on her part. For all I know, I mean, there's a lack of full consent of the will here due to physical circumstance. I mean, there could be all kinds of stuff going on. I'm not judging her, her culpability and her relationship with God and all that. I mean, that's up to God to decide. It could very well be the case that, if it wasn't for this medical situation, that none of this would have happened. And so, that's fair. But the point is going to be, okay, but even considering this condition, she wouldn't be in a position to continue to be the superior of the community. So I totally understand the bishop, removing her from her duties.
I see. Well, I understand it even more so than why you shouldn't be prioress, right?
There you go. He says it. He says, okay, I see. You were having these difficulties with your brain due to the seizures and medication, but that shows all the more that you shouldn't be prioress. And by the way, let me know if y'all are having difficulties hearing the audio. I have it turned up all the way that I can. Let me see if I got this volume booster here thing that might help more, if it actually works. Let's see if it works.
Okay, all of this has to be had.
Okay, yeah, I think it works. All right, hold on. That's a little loud. Let's try that again.
I have to follow up with this investigation, all right, because it's come to me, all right. So let me read first the decree initiating the investigation, okay?
All right, so now he's going to read the decree initiating the investigation on her. in light of her admission.
And then I will read the decree imposing a leave of absence, all right, and explaining that, all right. So, and you'll get copies of this. I know it's emotional.
I'm sorry,
It's okay. I understand. I know you are. I know you are. And that's
horrible.
I just don't understand. Look, I mean, I totally get we all fall, we all sin, and and it can even be grave matter in instances. And look, I get that, and I'm so sympathetic there. I totally understand a person who sins and then they repent and they truly are sorry, because that's me. I mean, I'm right there in the same boat with you. I have just as much need for repentance and penance as anyone else. And so very, very sympathetic there. My concern is that she didn't leave it there. Instead, she initiated a lawsuit in a civil court against the bishop. That's where there's a disconnect at this point. Not to mention the story continues to change over and over and over. There's that problem as well. And yes, I agree, Jeremiah 209. The bishop does seem to be very compassionate in this audio. I agree with you wholeheartedly.
Horrible mistake.
I understand.
I'm so sorry.
I know that. And there is hope for redemption and honestly. All right, so the path, the Lord's involved in this, but it's simply let's follow through in this first, okay? And then I'm so sorry to ask such a delicate question here, but I appreciate you explaining. So
I will tell you the whole truth, Bishop. I will.
Oh, I hope so.
The priest's name, okay?
You will?
If I have to. Do I
Yeah,
have to?
yeah.
She's asking, does she have to release the priest's name? And he says, you have to.
His name is Father Bernard Murray, and he's from a community in Montana.
Father Bernard Murray is what she said, which is the name that he is currently going by. And we've spoken about his name prior to that already in the previous stream.
And he's known as the Transalpine Redemptorist.
Okay. You got that. Thank you.
Yes.
All right.
He contacted our community for prayers, and then he and I were writing often to each other,
I see.
and we got very close.
I understand. My mother, I understand.
That's when it happened, and it was not often.
Was it more than one time?
Yes, Bishop.
Okay.
I would say just twice on the phone.
Just twice?
I think so.
All right, so she's saying just twice at least. And it's due to her getting close, is from what I can gather. I'm trying to turn the audio up a little bit without distorting it too much.
Yes, I would, yeah.
That's less than often, isn't it? I mean, often suggests more than twice.
I wouldn't, Bishop, that was twice. We would talk in email sometimes, and we just had like the video chat.
I see.
It was 2 times with the video chat.
I see.
And Bishop, I really got things very confused.
I understand.
And the sister can vouch for that.
I understand.
I was not in my right mind
I
when it
understand.
happened
I
at
understand.
all. And the sister knows me. I would never do anything like this. Never would I have,
I understand.
even a nun, can fall. And
Oh, sister, I know that. I know that, sister, please. And I appreciate you coming forward on this with that. And it's please understand. All right. And so if I can, having received information about violations of the 6th commandment of the Decalogue with an adult male, CF Canon 695, on the part of the Reverend Mother Teresa Agnes Gerlach, OCD, a perpetually professed member of the Order of Discalced Carmelites, and for the careful inquiry about the facts and circumstances, as well as the imputability of the offense, I, the undersigned diocesan bishop, having special vigilance in accord with Canon 615 and Cor number 75, paragraph 3, over the monastery of the Most Holy Trinity in Arlington, Texas, hereby order the initiation of an investigation. Further, I hereby name Ms. Sandra Schrader Ferry, the investigator, and the Reverend Monsignor E. James Hart, the notary. Upon the inclusion of the instruction of the investigation, I order that a written summary of the investigation along with a votum regarding the truth of the matter be prepared and forwarded to me along with the acts of the investigation.
So again, he's reading to her the decree for the investigation, because I think this was in April that the conversation took place, and then later on, I want to say it was at the end of May, if I'm not mistaken, that he relieved her from her duties officially. Like right now, it's just kind of like a suspension thing in April, but after the investigation, he relieved her. And as I understand it, then came the lawsuit.
In addition, I order that they are to conduct this investigation with due discretion and care, that the investigation does not call into question anyone's good name, including that of the accused. Given at the Chancery, Fort Worth, Texas, this 24th day of April, 2023.
So Bishop, the community does not have to know.
Well, I'm not sure yet, Mother. Let's finish talking through this, okay? Because I don't know how. Let me finish this and we'll go forward on this. Okay. No, it's okay. Those are questions that one in their right mind would ask. Okay, so please. Thank you. Having a decree imposing a leave of absence. Having received information about violations of the Sixth Commandment of death along with an adult male, Canon 695, on the part of the Reverend Mother Teresa, Agnes, Gerlach, perpetually professed member of the Order of Discounts Carmelites, and having initiated on April 24th an investigation for the careful inquiry about the facts and circumstances, as well as the imputability of the offense, precept, okay, in order with the provisions of Canons 49 through 51, and Canon 1319 and 1339, paragraph 4, CIC 2021, I, the Most Reverend Michael F. Olson, Bishop of the Diocese of Fort Worth, do hereby place you on administrative leave effective April 24th, 2023, and impose the following restrictions. 1, you are to reside and take your meals in the guest quarters of the Monastery of the Most Holy Trinity in Arlington, Texas, CS Cor Orans number 176. You may participate in the Most Holy Eucharist, recitation of the Divine Office, and other community hours of prayer and devotion in the choir of the Monastery of the Most Holy Trinity in Arlington, Texas, but are forbidden from sitting in the prioress chair. You are prohibited from speaking with the novices at the Monastery of the Most Holy Trinity in Arlington. You are prohibited from use of a cell phone and of computer and other electronic devices for communication outside the monastery without the prior permission of the administrator or sub-prioress of the Monastery of the Most Holy Trinity in Arlington, Texas. Should permission be granted, the communication is to be documented as follows: the date and time of the call, the name of the party contacted, and the duration of the call and the purpose for the call.
Okay, so I have to do that?
Yes, you have to.
Because I need to speak to my spiritual director.
That will have to be for permission. You're going to have to surrender your phone.
Okay.
All right. Okay. And no computer use. So permission each time. All right. You may not leave them.
It almost sounds like she was very hesitant to surrender her phone there. I wonder why.
Monastery of the Most Holy Trinity in Arlington, Texas, without the prior permission of the administrator or sub-prioress of the Monastery of the Most Holy Trinity in Arlington, Texas. Should permission be granted to leave the grounds of the monastery, you must be accompanied by the administrator or her delegate. The purpose of the departure, its destination, the parties seen, and the duration must be documented. You are prohibited from speaking with your accomplice in the aforementioned offenses. This includes either direct contact or communication or through any intermediaries. Okay. In addition, I hereby order you to hand over for forensic review any and all cell phones in your use, as well as all computers of the Monastery of the Most Holy Trinity in Arlington, Texas. Furthermore, in a paternal manner, I hereby admonish and warn you to observe the following commands strictly: to avoid exercising administrative activity or interfering with the decisions of the duly appointed administrator of the Monastery of the Most Holy Trinity in Arlington, Texas, to refrain from any other activity, speech, or association that would be lacking in due prudence or unbecoming of your state or scandalous to the faithful. In accord with Canons 1347, paragraph 1, and 1371, if even one incident or external action violating the restrictions as enumerated above, I will immediately initiate a formal canonical process for the determination of the truth of the matter and, if necessary, the imposition of just penalties. Finally, as we discussed, the provisions of this precept are necessary and prudent precautions taken as a pastoral measure for your welfare and the common good. The precept shall remain in effect for the duration of your leave of absence, at which time it will be reviewed, until renewed, revised, or revoked ad nutum episcopi. Against the provisions of this precept, you have the right to present recourse in accord with Canon 1734 and 1739. Given at the Chancery on my hand, Fort Worth, Texas, this 24th day of April. Okay,
April 24th then. Okay.
I have copies for you. What I would ask you to do, okay, is careful. If you you should have canonical counsel, okay, so that your rights are justly respected here, okay. So you have a couple of days for decision, like we'll say Thursday, okay, to then send it, send me that a canon lawyer will know, they'll submit a mandate for your representation, all right, which I have to approve. Okay, so
I do have one.
it's not Kelly O'Donnell, is it?
It is.
Yeah, no, somebody else. I have three names.
What did he just say?
There, and they'll submit a mandate for your representation, all right, which I have to approve. Okay, so
I do have one.
it's not Kelly O'Donnell, is it?
It is.
Yeah, no, somebody else. I have three names there. Anybody else you'd like to
Callaway Donald?
suggest? They're fair. These are fair people. They're competent, all right, and they want us to get to the truth. If you want, at that time too, if you want to submit your resignation as prioress, I mean, that would seem to make sense given everything we've done, and certainly the gravity of that is in order. Likewise, also see your membership in Carmel under the code is really called into question because it's quite strict. All right, so I don't want to go there. That's why. But if we have to, we do, all right, in God's providence. The priest, I will contact the priest superior, all right, and inform him of that as well. And so if he tries to contact you, please do not respond. Obviously, you won't have a phone.
He doesn't have anything.
Okay, all right. Very good. But we'll need to get the computers, all right, and I'm going to have to do an audit. And, the investigation requires that we talk with the sisters, all right, so that explaining what we have here, and that that in the sense of that the sisters are known why you're not sitting in the prioress's chair. And that I'm very sorry for this, and I know it pains me to do it, but I think it's the right path forward. For you and for this, the other thing,
Yeah, this is an interesting comment here. Neurological issues will cover everything from seizures, false memories, hallucinations, and so on. It also depends on what medications she was mixing with other drugs. And you know what? That's true. Like, I mean, it is hypothetically possible that she hallucinated these things and none of this is true. Like, it's hypothetically possible that she didn't violate the sixth commandment, but she thinks she did, and so she admitted to it, but it was actually a hallucination. Like, that's theoretically possible. I don't know how likely that is, and especially given that she admitted to this 5 different occasions. It's like, so I guess in all 5 occasions, she was going based on perhaps a hallucination that she had previously. It's possible. I don't know. But I hesitate to go that route unless there's good evidence for it, because at that point, we really could never take anybody's personal testimony seriously. We would have to just say, well, perhaps they have a brain condition. Perhaps it's a this, perhaps it's a that. And you could never really take a person's personal testimony as reliable, especially if they're on any kind of medication or something like that. So I'm not so sure that is likely to be true. It's possible that that's the case. It's possible she's innocent and the priests is innocent. I'm not saying that they are, but I'm just saying it's possible. Maybe that's true. Maybe it was all hallucinated. Maybe there's a huge misunderstanding. Maybe, but in light of the evidence, in light of admissions, in light of stuff like that, I think that that's less likely to be true. And so unless there's something that comes out that really just overturns all this, I think we kind of have to take a person at their word when they admit to, to the wrongdoing.
It becomes necessary, and if you think you would, this time, okay, so there's this not answer today, that you think that you would benefit from psychological counseling and psychiatric counseling? You are, okay, very good. All right, who's your spiritual director?
David Abernathy, who's from the Diocese of Pittsburgh.
Okay, and that's all done by phone?
Yes.
Okay.
So I need to let him know.
That would be documented on that part for sure.
I can just do that.
Yes, you can do that right now if you'd like.
Go and get the computer, is that what you need?
No, I brought somebody from the diocese. I will go with them to take the computers out if you point them out to us. That way, yeah.
There's really only one that I use, and so we can easily just.
Well, whatever other ones you have, and all of them, that's fine. If you, yeah.
I only work on one.
All right, but there are others?
There's plenty of others in the monastery.
I see.
Computers, but they're not like connected in any way.
They're not connected to the internet.
My email, and then that's theirs.
I see. Well, okay. Mother, what did you just do with your phone when I was talking there?
I was just looking to see a few things, because I know all these texts were coming in.
Like what?
I got a text from, one of them was just an order for a drip drop, and then Sister Josephine said, "Thank me for some toilet paper for the bathroom by the refectory." And she just said, I can't believe you have to go back tomorrow. That's to teach my tube out.
I see. Who said, which sister
Yes,
said?
Sister Josephine, the psychiatrist.
Yeah.
So that was all I was doing. And then I had one more checked. It was just this order for.
Okay. You didn't delete anything?
No.
Okay.
Sorry, I'm checking so bad.
I understand.
Sorry.
I'm so sorry
too.
too.
I sent a message to Father David that I won't be in contact with him for a while. I guess he could still speak with me since.
That part was odd. So she goes for her phone, I guess, to check a text message, but for him it looked conspicuous. So he kind of had to ask, "What were you doing with your phone just now? Are you sure you didn't delete anything?" That's also odd. I mean, I wouldn't think that she would be checking her phone during this kind of discussion to just check a message. That sounds suspicious.
He is my director, Father David.
Yes, but those really should be scheduled.
They usually are.
Okay. If you let him know, but it's just that, yeah, the phone use is going to be cut dramatically.
Okay.
Yeah. And any of the technology, really the sake of the whole carmel is at stake here. You understand that? And I appreciate you telling the truth. I know it's hard as it is. Oh, I know you do. Oh, I know you do. And I know you are, honestly. you know,
It's in a
and
really bad state.
I understand, and it underscores the reason why, I mean, that's a bad state for the burdens of leadership too, and judgment.
Yep. Yeah, I mean, he's got a point. I mean, if she's saying that she's just in a bad state mentally, then that's a bad condition to be in for a position of leadership. He has a point. It's an interesting comment. One thing I hate is how the media portray Bishop Olson as this very angry, fomenting at the mouth dictator, but in this video is very soft-spoken, and even consoling towards the Mother Superior. Yeah, I get the same impression. Yeah. Again, like I say, why is it that we just continue to seemingly back the wrong horse? Again, unless there's some major evidence out there that can overturn all of this.
Yes, please.
Let me see. I might need one person's phone number. Could I write that down?
For what?
Father Peter Byrne, because he's been helping me with this. And I would just.
Oh, he has with counseling like that.
Yes.
I'll let him know.
Okay. Be grateful.
Sure.
Right.
Has he come for retreat yet?
No.
Okay.
No, we need to discuss that. His
Well.
parents got very, very ill.
Okay.
And they live up in Pittsburgh. And so he's been there 2 months taking care of them.
I
His mom
understand.
broke hip, and his dad just had cancer surgery.
I'll follow up with him then and stuff.
Yeah,
It just
he's very well.
really the burdens of office now are lifted from you right now.
Yes.
Right. So you really shouldn't be talking to the other sisters and that. I know Sister Francis Teresa, appreciate you being honest. Oh no. I appreciate your honesty on this in the sense because otherwise I was going to put the precept of forbidding you two to talk, you know, so that as we get the story, you know, but in fact, if you know, Sandra's conducting the investigation and so maybe she can talk with you and just do them, you're first, okay? And then Sister, I really appreciate this and I'm so sorry. I mean,
It's absolutely devastating.
I know that.
It's heartbreaking.
I know.
But I know that you have to do this as, you know, the bishop of our diocese.
I love you all very much.
We do love and respect you, Bishop,
I
and
know
this is the last thing on earth
Oh, I know,
that we expected to happen.
I know. Any of us are prone, there but for the grace of God, or any of us.
And I
Yeah, and I appreciate that. He says there, but for the grace of God, you know, there go we, but for the grace of God. And yeah, absolutely true.
can cooperate with others. At the time after her seizure,
Yeah,
she had to take medication that messed up her mind.
I know.
And I feel certain that.
See, that's why like a medical assessment would be really in order, I suspect, by the end of it. I know, but one that gives a report to me.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah,
Well,
yeah.
I'll figure this out a little bit.
Well, it's okay. Well, I mean, we're not there yet. First, we do this preliminary thing, and you have, you know, and I'll appoint an administrator, and then,
Bishop, one thing about the phone is I do all of our appointments on the calendar. I need to switch, I need those appointments to get to sister so that we know.
we can arrange that.
Okay, so I really got.
We'll get our computer
lots of
person in to do.
appointments.
I'm just still trying to understand where did this thing go south that the nuns initiated a lawsuit?
That. I understand.
Okay,
I understand.
and when the phone does come back, will it have everything on it or will it be?
Well, you know,
Is
I
going
understand.
to freak out
I know.
and I don't know how to do that.
Somebody can contact your father, you know, and just explain right now. See, it's just, you know, calling to mind I've learned a lot more about your rule. All right, and in the use of means of communication, great discretion and sobriety will be observed, avoiding all that can be harmful to contemplative life and carnal. The telephone is permitted for the needs of the community. Only the prioress or the sister whom she appoints will answer the phone. Well, you're not prioress now, right? You're on a leave of absence.
But still priors of the community?
No, not at all.
Taking me out completely?
Yes,
Okay.
until the completion of this. Yes, right. You've not been deposed. All right. Your rule says you keep the title of mother, but you're not the prioress. Hence, you don't sit in the prioress's chair.
No,
Right.
sister, right?
That's right. Right. The administrator would sit there, and that would not sit there, but until a new prioress either would be appointed or, that's it. But I don't see a way you can return to being prioress. Honestly.
Right now, Bishop, but
No.
everybody would love them to support me. So
I know they do. I know they do.
you know, they voted unanimously for me, they wanted me.
Yes, but also they didn't know about this. All right, and that also entails this. So, it's just, it's just attachment. All right, and again, no religious is to call anything his or her own, but let everything be in common. And the prioress of the religious appointed by her shall distribute to each whatever she may need according to her age and necessities. And so this is part of it. So either you've articulated that you're very, very ill. All right, there is ample evidence of that. All right, the illness to the point which you're articulating now is influenced your judgment so much to lead you into objectively grave sin twice. Okay, and so that shows that you can't maintain that office. All right, and I could see, and then there's the question of the whole religious life as well. There's to be an assessment done and everything else because the canons are very strict on this.
Oh, I know, this is terrible.
No, I know it is, and but somehow let's look for God's grace in it. Now, that's not whistling Dixie and everything else they did, but it is. But that's serious, and we have to follow through on this process. God will get His way through on this.
Well, yes.
All right, and that's the truth. So you're going to probably go through a lot of withdrawal without that.
Most likely. Yeah.
Okay,
But,
so have some.
I have plenty of books.
Candy and whatever you need to do or something like that. But right, yes, you're popping in again then.
Yeah, I had texted Father David.
Okay, very nice.
He had asked
Okay,
about the case against me, and he said, for what? And I just said, well, I did. And he knows what I mean. So I'm so sorry, your mother. I will be praying for you. You've been under emotion,
Yeah.
incredible strain, physically, emotionally, and spiritually. Entrust yourself to the Lord as well as the bishop in whatever the outcome that it is in accordance with God's providence will.
in that order, God and then the bishop. All right, but we work together. Okay, so that's it. So if you would, are there any other questions? Anything? I know there's a ton.
You mentioned Bishop administrator.
Yeah. Right.
Will that person be appointed by you?
Yes, she will. No, I can't right now. Sorry. Because the burden on sister would be too strong to, in a sense, do your bidding in that sense. And we need to be, it wouldn't be fair to sister. All right. And if she's going to give you kind of this type of sororal support, she can. Oh, I know that. And that's part of religious life too. But she can't have that burden as competent as you are, all right, and as good as you are. But yeah, I would instead, I thought about the contemplation of another sister from a different Carmel, but I think at this point I'm not ready to go to that direction in that. So, right. So you have the sub-priors, the Sister Joseph Marie, right? And that, but I'm thinking of someone else too. But first I'd like to talk to the whole community, all right? And I know that
I not be present?
well, what do you prefer?
I prefer not to be present.
Okay, well then while you're doing that, when I'm talking to the community, why don't I stay here with Monsignor Hart and talk with the community, and Sandra go with our computer man to go get the computer.
It's embarrassing because where it is like kind of a wreck. So if I could just go in and get it, that's all I do.
No, I'm sorry.
Okay, Bishop.
Did Mother Teresa just try to say, "Can I go get the computer"? Did I hear that correctly? Was that her? Let's listen to that again.
Problem.
Community, and Sandra go with our computer man to go get the computer.
It's embarrassing because where it is like kind of a wreck. So if I could just go in and get it, that's all I do.
No, I'm sorry.
Okay, Bishop, that's the problem.
It sounded like she was saying, "Hey, can I go get the laptop? Or the computer?" Why? Why would you need to go and do that unless there's something there that you don't want people to be aware of? It just, now maybe it was another reason, but again, it just sounds very conspicuous. And yeah, well, there is that issue in the chat. There was a bong in the cloister. More than just that. So yeah.
I'm not going to do anything. Do I have sister come with me to validate this?
Oh, well, no. Oh, Mother, I'm sorry. I can't. The integrity of the investigation requires that.
Sister, I won't pass judgment on the state of or conditions.
I understand. Well, you've been sick. You've been sick.
Is she trying to say my room is too messy? I need to go and get it? It's what it sounds like. She said she's embarrassed because her room is in a wreck. Well, this doesn't... Seems like she's pushing a little too hard here. It honestly kind of looks pretty bad, like she's trying to cover something up.
Sister, I will need to ask you also for the passwords and any PIN numbers in order to access that or any other computers that you have access to.
Any PIN codes or anything like that. And what was the other thing that you're asking for?
Any passwords or any PINs?
Yes, to like Home Depot or Amazon, various places that we purchase stuff from, my medical stuff.
Right.
So yeah, there's passwords there, but no passwords that can get into the phone or anything like that. It's not possible.
And no other PIN numbers to protect entrance? Okay.
Is that the only cell phone that the community has?
No, the council has them.
Every council member?
Yeah, and that's all.
Okay.
Yeah, we also need one to Sister Elizabeth Mary. There's not a counselor, but it would really help her because it just helps us so much to communicate between each other when the monastery is so big and you're out when I'm upstairs, not feeling well. So that they have it. They all use it for just specific purposes, just as I do. So
you'll recall that photos allegedly of one of the rooms of the monastery has weed and bongs and all kinds of prescription medications there. And somebody took a photo and gave it to the bishop. And the bishop turned it over to the police. I'm wondering if that photo was taken whenever they went and recovered the computer. I don't know. Speculation on my part, but I wonder when that picture was taken.
You'll see there's going to be a lot of pictures and downloads, and I'm just hoping y'all won't lose everything on the phone.
Oh, no, I think we'll keep everything.
No, yes, but...
I mean, we'll make sure of that.
Okay, if you can,
like
that'd be great. Well, just because there's so hundreds and thousands of pictures, close to, 10,000, 15,000 probably right now.
Really?
I take a lot of pictures, especially of the dogs.
I
There's
see.
pictures of Mother and Teresa.
Oh, sure.
Just different
sure.
community pictures.
Absolutely.
So there's a lot of pictures, and I just would hate to lose those.
I understand.
So
No.
still,
We'd be very
I'd be
careful.
very grateful.
While capture that.
And of course, if something comes up where you need a password,
I don't know if I was following that. They were talking about there's going to be photos there of Mother Teresa. That what's the problems with the photos?
that we're not thinking of,
Right.
you can always
That's
ask.
all right.
Thank you.
Sister,
Thank you.
wait, my sister, also call sister.
Sure.
Sister, Neil Fisher, with address and everything's phone, contact. Is it not, I can do a share contact real quick.
I can provide it for sister.
I do have it. It's 817-528-2248. That's what I have.
What's that? It's 817-528-2248. That is it. I always remember it. 528, 2 plus 2 plus 4 is 8. That's all. So,
Yeah.
very good.
And so Mother gave that to me because at one point when she was in the hospital, she wanted you to know that she had.
I know. I remember that, sister. Okay.
And Mother, I'm ready to take that now if you're ready to hand it to me.
Got mute. Do you want to unmute or?
It doesn't matter. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Mother.
Thank you, Mother.
Should we get Kevin in here? He would go with her to get the
Sure,
computer, if that's okay.
we can just go to the front door.
Okay.
Sure.
Anyway, I'll be back on.
Okay, it's okay.
Oh, wow. It just doesn't seem good. And as I say, it's just one side is checking out, the other isn't. So unless something major comes out that overturns this, I just, here's some of the photos. We're going to read the article here in just a second, but yeah, here's some of the photos. Drug paraphernalia reportedly found in the Carmelite cloister. Don't know exactly what's going on with all that. But stick around. We're going to have a quick break here, and we will return and go over the article in just a moment. Hey, pro-lifers, I want to remind you about realestateforlife.org. If you want to support the pro-life movement at no cost to you in the process of buying a home or selling a home, office, or any kind of property anywhere in the world, check out realestateforlife.org for more information. God bless. So Reason in Theology is growing as a channel. As a result, there's been a number of increases in production costs. So if you're benefiting from RNT, I ask that you consider supporting the channel. You can help out by contributing to the Help RNT Grow fundraiser on GoFundMe. You could also consider becoming a member on Patreon at patreon.com/Reason in Theology, or become a channel member right here on YouTube. With either of these options, Patreon or a YouTube member, you'll get extra access to patron-only content. You can also donate directly to RNT at PayPal if you prefer that option. And you can find links to all of these resources and ways to support RNT in the show description. God bless. And thank you for this clarification. This is from Poppy. Says there's a lot of pictures on there, she said in the audio, that are personal. The bishop said they will be careful. I'm just trying to think, like, what kind of personal photos would a Mother Superior have? I mean, I'm sorry, I'm at a loss on, like, I'm trying to give her the benefit of the doubt here. That a Mother Superior would have some photos that are sensitive and personal in nature, but what photos of what and why, for what purpose? I'm not seeing it here. It just sounds really suspect. Well, the bishop is sitting on all this information. He made copy of her phone and laptop, apparently. He has access to records, conversations, all of that. He hasn't released all that. I imagine he's sitting on a lot. So again, unless there's just something major that comes out and overturns all this and exonerates her, it makes sense of everything. It makes sense of the audio admission that we just heard. Unless something like that comes out, I think it's pretty clear where the truth is in this story. So let's look at Christine Niles from Church Militant. Her article, Audio Tape Contradicts Carmelite Nun's Claims. Again, that's where we got the audio from. She released it. Thank you so much for putting that out there for us to benefit from. She says an audio recording is calling into serious question allegations leveled by a group of Texas Carmelites against their bishop. Church Militant obtained the full audio tape, which was aired in Tarrant County Court on Tuesday at a hearing for a civil lawsuit filed against the nuns. By the nuns against Bishop Michael Olson of Fort Worth. And I'm just trying to figure out again, why did this thing go south? It sounded like, I will say the mother, Teresa, there did sound it sounded like she was hesitating to be cooperative in many cases, as you could tell. But it sounds like there were some others there who were, being cooperative and on board. And I'm just, again, trying to figure out, why did this thing take a left turn and end up in court? What happened? The recording was taken April 24th. It features Olson talking with Mother Teresa, Agnes Gerlach, then prioress of the Carmelite Monastery of Most Holy Trinity in Arlington, contrary to the nuns' claims and their lawsuit that the bishop threatened, bullied, and traumatized the nuns. Olson is soft-spoken and gentle in his questioning of Gerlach. Yes. So unless there's a Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde kind of thing going on with Bishop Michael Olson, then I think it's pretty obvious that he wasn't threatening, bullying, and traumatizing. Gosh, he sounded so gentle. I wouldn't have been that gentle. I'm just sitting here thinking, man, I need to work on my conduct. I need to work on the way I talk to people. Goodness, he was very sensitive, compassionate, soft-spoken. I'm taking tips from all this. So again, unless he's just like very different behind closed doors, then I don't see that being the case, and I don't have any reason to believe that that's the case. The audio tape also contradicts Gerlach's claim that her confession was coerced. I don't understand where that's coming from. That doesn't sound in any way like the confession is coerced. She admits to violating the sixth commandment with a priest. Olson responds by saying, "I'm so sorry." He asked to know the priest's name, and Gerlach was hesitant to answer before offering the name Bernard Marie of the Transalpine Redemptorists. The community issued a statement Tuesday clarifying that Father Bernard Marie was a priest of the Diocese of Raleigh, North Carolina, and had spent only a few months with the Redemptorists discerning his vocation. He left in May. The Transalpine Redemptorists were once part of the SSPX. Their first community was on the remote island of Papastrance off Scotland's coast. This is where the SSPX sent accused Father Predator Benedict van der Putten, who was later laicized after multiple girls accused him of sexual assault. The Diocese of Raleigh then published a statement clarifying that his actual name is Father Philip Johnson. Father Philip Johnson is not currently exercising public ministry, the diocese said. Upon returning to North Carolina, his faculties were restricted by the bishop. Johnson was well known on Catholic blogs because of his battle with a brain tumor as a seminarian and deacon. He was ordained in 2017 after his tumor had been on hold for a decade. And that's very tragic to hear about that. I'm very sad to hear about this issue. I can't say that I was familiar with him prior to this, but I'm sad to hear about the brain tumor. That's terrible. I was beginning an exciting career as a naval officer with my entire life ahead of me. I had so many hopes and dreams, and in an instant, they all seemed to be crushed, he wrote in 2014. Oh, that's tragic. Golly. Man, yeah. I could just imagine. You think you have your whole life ahead of you, and then all of a sudden you receive news that you got a brain tumor. Just, ooh. Well, my heart goes out to him for that. My life means something to me, to God, and to my family and friends, and barring a miraculous recovery, it will continue to mean something long after I'm paralyzed in a hospice bed. Gosh. Wow, prayers for him. In court, Vicar General Father Jonathan Wallace confirmed that the prioress admitted to him on 3 occasions beginning on December 22nd, 2022, and she had violated her vow with the priest. Let's see. According to Wallace, Gerlach believed she was falling in love and described the relationship as consensual. Wallace said Gerlach told him over the phone on January 5th that she was going to see the doctor and was nervous because she was late with her period. I took it as a potential pregnancy, said Wallace. He had waited until April 14th to inform the bishop about the affair because Gerlach had told him she would report it to her superiors. So I guess she... Yeah, so I guess she is the one who then communicated this to the bishop. If I understood that correctly. Let's see. Or he, I should say. Yeah, Father Jonathan Wallace confirmed, and then Wallace said Gerlach told him over the phone, and then he had waited until April 14th to inform the bishop. Okay, so it was then. So in answer to somebody, there was somebody in the chat who asked, like, who informed the bishop? Well, there we go. Vicar General Father Jonathan Wallace informed him. Bishop, most of this was done by phone, she said. I see, all right. Was some of it in person? Yes, Bishop. Later changing her story. This did not happen in person at all, which I pointed out yesterday. It's like some of these news reports were mentioning one part that was saying that it was partially in person, and then others were just saying, no, it was entirely over the phone. And I was pointing out, hold on, wait, there's an inconsistency. She said both. She was saying that it was at first in person, and then she changed it to entirely on the phone. And I pointed out that inconsistency. I'm glad that Christine picked up on this too. That's something you've changed the story, said Olson. A little bit, Bishop, she admitted. Okay, but why? Is it because you're now being disciplined, or is it because you misspoke? Why? What is the reason for the changing? He said, yeah, we had a hard time with the truth. We have had a hard time with the truth, he responded. She went on to claim that at the time she was having seizures. I'm so sorry, Bishop. It's okay. I know you are. It was horrible. There is hope for redemption, the bishop said. The whole Carmel's at stake here. Fort Worth Diocese is arguing that the court should dismiss the nun's lawsuit because it involves ecclesiastical discipline and therefore is outside of the jurisdiction of civil court. The nuns argue that Olson exceeded his authority, violating the nuns' rights by seizing their electronics and defaming them by his public statements. Well, hold on, wait. I don't think that they have access to phones as religious unless they have permission from their superiors. So how would he violate her rights by seizing the electronics when she is not to have any possessions in and of herself? She's not prioress anymore. That doesn't make sense. And then defaming them by his public statements. Well, it doesn't sound like defamation if it's based on truth and admissions and audio tapes. That's not defamation. That's him doing his job. Drugs. Olson released photos reportedly from inside the cloister revealing a room littered with illegal drug paraphernalia. While the nuns claimed the photos were staged, 3 insiders went to media to confirm that Gerlach was addicted to drugs. Goodness. Yeah, we have knowledge that she has traveled out of state to get illegal drugs and brought them back to the monastery, said one informant to a local ABC affiliate, WFAA. Gerlach had reportedly traveled to Colorado on a number of occasions where they believe she purchased the marijuana, brought it back to Texas. Marijuana remains illegal in Texas. The informants explained Gerlach has been dealing with health issues for 4 years, and they fear she may be abusing prescription drugs as well as marijuana. WFAA verified that the sources spent time at the monastery either by voluntary work or under contract. The sources confirmed they had witnessed Gerlach under the influence. You know, I've seen this a lot of times. A person goes through a physical problem, you know, in this case sounds like it was seizures. You know, they go through something and then they get addicted to their medication, and then they start making really bad decisions because of that addiction. It's a sad thing. You know, I could see that happening easily to just anybody in that situation. You know, you're in pain, you're suffering, you got this prescription medication. It's easy to probably begin to abuse that. And then after that abuse, you start to make bad decisions because of that. Whether it is, you know, obtaining marijuana to help alleviate the pain and or engaging in inappropriate conduct. Like you could, it's totally understandable how a person could end up in that situation. From something like a medical condition, you know. I don't know if that's the case in her situation. I don't know if that's what it is, but I'm trying to give her the best possibility here, you know. I don't think she sought out to do this initially. I think she probably got into a bad position with a medical condition, and it kind of led to some of these things. That's the impression that I'm getting. She's very, 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 very fragile, said another. Church militant spoke with the Arlington Police Department, which confirmed the criminal investigation into both the nuns and the bishops remains ongoing. Its official response on May 31st, Arlington Police Department received a letter from local law firm raising allegations about recent actions taken at the Monastery of Most Holy Trinity here in our city. In response, the department has launched an investigation to determine any criminal offenses have occurred, which is standard anytime a criminal complaint is made. Investigators are also aware of a public statement released by the Diocese of Fort Worth that alleges possible illegal activity within the monastery. The investigation is ongoing. Gosh, how long does it take them to just perform a basic investigation? Like, why isn't this? We're a month later. You still don't have any kind of statement on just some very basic issues here. I mean, this doesn't seem like something hard to investigate. What is the police department doing here? When asked whether the police were looking specifically into allegations of drug use, the police department spokesman said yes. Okay, but where are you at in this process? What's taking so long? It takes a whole month? The nun's attorney is denying the allegations of drug use. Show me your proof. You throw out any story you want. You could throw out any allegation you want. Just show me the proof. While the matter had been handled privately, initially the scandal exploded onto national media in May after the nuns decided to take the matter to the public forum by suing Olson in civil court. Olson then published a statement explaining that Gerlach had violated the Sixth Commandment with a priest outside the diocese. In their lawsuit, the nuns accused the bishop of abuse of authority and heavy-handed behavior that traumatized them, including claims that he bullied and threatened the nuns and seized the prioress's cell phones and device against her will. It didn't sound like it was against her will. She consented to it. She was reluctant and hesitant a little bit there. But it sounds like because she possibly was hiding something. That's the impression I'm getting. But, I mean, it wasn't against her will. She didn't insist and say no, and then they, like, hold her down and, you know, beat her up and then take the phone from her. Like, that's not what happened. You can clearly hear in the audio they're taking possession of the phone, and it's not against her will. She consents to it. Gerlach, through her attorney, denied Olson's allegations that she broke her vow, claiming that he extracted a confession from her after surgery while she was still under the influence of pain medication. I thought the surgery was after the April audio recording. That doesn't make sense. So he got a confession from her after surgery while she was on pain medication. June 1st, the bishop dismissed Gerlach from her religious community. The same day, he reinstated daily mass at the convent, which was suspended during the investigation. Rumors have circulated online that Olson's real motives in targeting the nuns was a money grab and that his intent was to take over the property. This led Olson's releasing a video on June 11th addressing the accusations. I was told in April that the prioress had admitted to my vicar general and the sister Teresa of the monastery, or Teresa of the monastery, that she had broken her vow of chastity with a priest not from the Diocese of Fort Worth. She voluntarily made these admissions on 4 different dates with clarity and consistency. She reportedly admitted it again on a 5th occasion in the presence of St. Francis Therese, Monsignor Hart, my chancellor, and Sandra Schroeder, the Safe Environment Director of the Diocese of Fort Worth. He also rejected accusations that he was attempting to take their property or belongings, or that he forcefully seized their phones and electronic devices against their will. The telephone and electronic devices were returned several weeks ago, they said. They are at the monastery. Olson also denied allegations as false and baseless that he or the diocese planted the drugs inside the monastery. Well, as I've said over and over and over and over and over, one side is making sense, the other isn't. And now you've heard the full audio to kind of give you more context. This is unfortunate. I think this is a sad situation because, okay, it seems like, taking her at her word for her admission, it seems like some wrongdoing was done on her part. And I think she should have just kind of let things go. But it sounds like that wasn't going to be the case. She pushed back, takes this to court. They're trying to deny things. They're trying to spin it. That's the impression I'm getting. Again, unless something really substantially changes this, it looks like one side is changing its story, and it's not making sense in light of all of the evidence we continue to see and observe. And I think it should go to show you that a lot of people have just automatically, their gut reaction was to go against the bishop, side with the nuns. And they've raised money, if I recall correctly. They had a donation going for the monastery. Everybody wanted to support the nuns and condemn the bishop. And I want to ask, why were people so quick to do that when they had not yet seen all of the evidence? And the more evidence that comes out seems to weigh against the nuns. So again, unless there's something out there that just really overturns this, which I'm open to that possibility. If something comes out tomorrow and it completely accounts for all of the evidence that is out there and it exonerates the nun, I'd be so happy to do a stream saying, oh, she's exonerated and here's why. And I'd be happy to do that. I don't know if that's going to happen. So unless something like that happens, I think the evidence is pretty clear. And it also goes to show that we need to avoid having this kind of rash reaction to go to defend a group of people that we claim are being beaten up and being persecuted by the mean and nasty hierarchy. I think that narrative needs to be, I think we need to be more careful before really buying into that narrative. Well, anyways, I hope this was helpful. Let's pray for the Mother Teresa Gerlach. Let's pray for her that, there's a happy ending here, and that God's will is done, and that there would be peace in this situation. All right, y'all, that's going to do it. Hit the like button, hit the subscribe button. Check me out, of course, patreon.com/Reason in Theology if you want to support me. So Reason in Theology is growing as a channel. As a result, there's been a number of increases in production costs. So if you're benefiting from RNT, I ask that you consider supporting the channel. You can help out by contributing to the Help RNT Grow fundraiser on GoFundMe. You could also consider becoming a member on Patreon at patreon.com/Reason in Theology, or become a channel member right here on YouTube. With either of these options, Patreon or a YouTube member, you'll get extra access to patron-only content. You can also donate directly to RNT at PayPal if you prefer that option. And you can find links to all of these resources and ways to support RNT in the show description. God bless.